This is the Motorfist Defender Helmet. Just released, just came out, just came off of pre-order. I'm so excited. I've needed a new helmet for a while now. Manufacturers recommend that you replace your helmet roughly every 5 years. Don't quote me on it. Everybody's different, so do your research. But generally they say every 5 years, just because your sweat and any moisture that gets inside and into the glue in the helmet will wear down the inner protection foam and the glue. So make sure that you are replacing your helmets every now and then. My white Scott 550 is up. It is at that point. It needs replacement. So I'm sponsored by Motorfist. I thought I might as well wear one. I'm really excited to try this helmet in springtime, mostly because of the side venting. Your goggle strap rides right up in between, so you don't really have to worry about that getting covered. So you do have the side vent. You've got these massive top-back vents too. And then on the front visor, through one of these airways, is actually a vent right along the top here on both sides. I am a little worried though when it comes to the Alberta, BC cold -20 riding. Not that I'm much of a cold weather rider. I think that all this venting in here might be a little counterproductive for me, but that might just be the point where I wear, a bigger neck covering, maybe a balaclava, just, added extra protection just for the cold. But other than that, I'm really excited to try this guy out. It is a little bit heavier, than the current helmet I'm running, that Scott 550, but not by a lot, which is surprising. I just wanted to do a profile comparison of what I was running the Scott 550 versus the new Motorfist Defender. So a little significantly different. The Scott 550 has a fixed visor on it, where the Motorfist one doesn't. That is going to be a downfall in my opinion for the Motorfist. I don't like screws like that. I find they loosen up, you lose them, you have to buy a new screw kit for your helmet. That is kind of one of the downfalls that I do have about this lid. Whereas the Scott, it does have screws, but it is a clip-in fixed visor. So to really try to pop that visor off, it's really hard to do. Whereas this one, all you need is one screw to loosen up and the whole thing kind of loosens off all the way. So you have to really watch that. The other thing too is look at the shape of the mouthpiece. It's kind of hard to tell on camera. This almost looks like a stormtrooper helmet just with that front mouthpiece, whereas the Motorfist is more traditional, I would say, like say a 5-year-old helmet with that big kind of ventilation in it. I think that's going to be a really nice feature to have. It does have a lot of foam backing inside for cold protection. The Scott came without that, but you do order a winterized kit for it where there is a foam chunk that does go into this mouthpiece. But with it being smaller, I just feel like the Motorfist one's going to ventilate a little bit more at the front. I'm a heavy mouth breather when I ride, I will admit it. So I'm kind of looking forward to trying this one in some cold weather and seeing how bad I fog up my goggles. This one I did have a lot of goggle fogging, but I also, if you notice the jaw piece, again kind of hard to tell, the Scott one seems to be more open in the eye area than the Motorfist one. So when it comes to goggle fit, I'm really curious to see which one's going to be a better fit. Again, I'll post that on my Instagram later down, probably next week, and we'll see, once I get out and ride, I'll see which one I like the best. So I did a weight test on these helmets because I got really curious to see what an average basic snowmobile helmet would weigh compared to the Scott 550, which is a motocross with the snow kit. So it's kind of a vice versa, it goes both ways helmet. It's got the extra foam padding that you put in the visor and in the mouthpiece for that extra winter protection. And it does have the MIP system in it. So I almost thought for sure that the Scott was going to be heavier. They're both non-carbon fiber, they're just regular, but with the Scott having the MIP system in it, I thought for sure it was going to weigh much more. So I'll plug in what I found the other day here. So the Motorfist helmet comes weighing in at 3 pounds 53 ounces for that guy, and I am pleasantly surprised. I thought for sure the Scott 550 was going to be a little bit heavier just due to the MIP system, but it comes weighing in at 3 pounds 40 ounces. Holy cow. My next test that I want to run, which will be on my next time that I ride, I'll probably throw it up on Instagram. It's going to be the fitment of the goggles. I think that's going to be the next really important thing. Something like that, you can't just throw a pair of goggles in the helmet without it being on a head. I think because everybody's face has a different profile and a different fit to a helmet, I think it's more important to try it with the goggles on and actually out in the cold weather. Then that way you can actually feel, you know, if you're getting any cold air through here. I did get a new set of Motorfist goggles that are meant to fit these helmets perfectly, so I will give those a try. I do have a pair of older 509 Sinister goggles that I will throw on this in comparison. So we'll do kind of like a profile. I will post that onto my Instagram, most likely in the Reels, just to really show up close a profile of how much the fit is. I'm more so worried about right here in the cheek area. That's where I do get some really cold spots, almost close to frostbite when I'm riding. I do wear a buff up over my nose at times, but just, you know, when you're riding hard and you're breathing heavy, it's so nice just to have an airway open. But that is going to be the major concern, is just a spot here. I can already tell that the Motorfist helmet, the jaw piece is a lot shorter back than the Scott helmet. So I already know that this is going to be a better fit for goggles. We'll see though. Like I said, I'd rather try it in person just to have the actual feel for it, because my face is, you know, different shaped. So I really encourage everybody else to, you know, don't just go by one person's opinion on goggle fit to a helmet. Make sure you actually try it. Maybe, you know, if you're at a dealership trying on helmets, throw a helmet on, ask if you can put a pair of goggles on, or bring your goggles, throw it on and see what the seal looks like. Because if you're riding in cold weather and you're really concerned about frostbite, you know, it's really good to make sure you have that seal. This is a piece of safety equipment. You do want it fitting properly. I've worked at a dealership for almost 6 years, so I did help fit people a lot, and it's really important to know the shell and the way that the shells work as well. So again, if you are searching for a helmet, if you've tried a model on before and you really liked it and you know your size, go ahead, do it up. But if you're really concerned about fitment and making sure your goggles are sealed really well, I would really suggest going into your local dealer, hitting. So even though I'm sponsored by Motorfist, there is a few things about this helmet that already off the bat kind of make me question just a little bit, and that's the fact that it doesn't have a MIP system in it. It's not the end of the world, to be honest. It's one of those things that I personally like to have in my helmet. I have been prone to getting a concussion, just light concussions, so having an extra safety feature like that in a helmet, I think is really important. With this not having it, that does bring the price point down to be quite average with a lot of other similar helmets. But maybe in the future, I would love to see Motorfist have a MIP system put in a helmet, especially if this is brand spanking new to them and their own design, which is super exciting. It would be nice to see a feature like that put in this helmet. The other thing, like I touched on, is the screws. Man, I hate these. I've already gave you my little passionate speech about it, but if those could somehow get swapped for something better, I would love to see that. I can tell you that my previous 509 helmets had smaller screw systems in it. I have lost screws out of those visors, but not as much as older helmets that I've worn with this exact screw in it. So we'll see, maybe this will help convince them to change that up. And then the other point too that I just want to touch on is the weight. So it is a bit heavy. I am a lady rider, I am a backcountry rider, so I do wear a full Avi backpack, which is already quite a bit of weight pulling onto my shoulders. I have everything fit quite right for my backpack, so I don't necessarily get sore shoulder tops, but my neck does get sore just from being pulled back by the weight now and then. So a lighter helmet I do find to be really, really nice to have. If Motorfist had, I would have went with a carbon fiber option. There was no carbon fiber option, it's just the basic helmet right now, but maybe in the future, if they have one, I would really opt in for one of those and with a MIP system. One thing that I want to touch on is because I used to sell helmets and help people fit into the correct size helmet, I do want to tell you that don't just go out and buy this helmet because it looks cool or you think it's going to be good for you. I really recommend that you find a dealer or get your hands on one to try on. It's really important to make sure that right here in the helmet, in your temple area and right on the top of your head, that it's not pinching. A lot of helmets that just don't fit your head right could be because they are a different internal core shape. There are two current average core shapes. That's going to be round or oval. So make sure that you talk to a specialist or somebody who sells helmet or even a guide and ask them about proper fit. That is really important. I don't want to be responsible for telling you what to do, but I do recommend that you seek out somebody that's working currently with all the new helmets that are out there and ask them yourselves, maybe even the manufacturers, and get their opinion too. It's always the best to try helmets on. You always want to make sure that they fit correctly, and the only way to do that is by putting it on yourself. So I'm really excited to try this helmet on this season. I'm sponsored by Motorfist, so they sent me this helmet to try. I'm really excited because, man, I'm in the market for a new helmet and I've actually never had my hands on a Motorfist one before, so this is new and fresh. I used to sell Motorfist way back in the day, and that was back in the time when there was carbon fiber available, but they were produced by Cali. They were a Cali helmet. So it's going to be interesting now that Motorfist has their own design, their own lid, that they're going their own route. I'm really proud and excited of the progress that they're having with this company. So this is going to be fun. I'm going to be wearing this more often. You'll see this more in my social posts. So make sure you follow me on Instagram, backcountry_Barbie, and check my stuff out there too. I would really appreciate if you'd subscribe to me if you're a sledder or any kind of backcountry person, or, you know, ATV, quads, all that fun stuff. I'm not going to be doing a lot of touching on the summer toys, just more so a snowmobile kind of side of my life. I will do more talking of product. If there's something in particular that Motorfist has that you're kind of curious on, please let me know in the comments. I have most of the new gear. I don't have all of it, but if there is something in particular you have a few questions on, I would be more than happy to help answer that. I hope you all have an amazing 2022 snowmobile season. It's gonna rock. We have really bad weather right now and rain, so conditions right now aren't ideal, but in the next couple weeks there's snow in the forecast, so should be good. I'm so excited.